Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And before we get into this story, I've absolutely got to give you a heads up for the video that is yet to come. And I'm not getting messianic, although I could do given the subject matter, because it's all about the Catholic Church. The next video is about the Catholic Church, not general. We're not looking at, all the wherefores and the theology or anything like that. Just simply something that happened in Poland. The story has got it all. Trust me. Anyway, we'll have a look at this story, which is all about Alex Salmond. He's having his party conference. It's starting this week. And I say conference, there'll be about 6 of them and a dog. Because the party only exists to give Alex Salmond a stipend, doesn't it? It's a bit of income in his old age. Bless him. But they're a party, of course, that want independence. They don't want anything to do with England. They want the UK government to be kept out of Scottish matters and all that. And, of course, there is a big irony, because they're having their conference at this hall in Glasgow, a hall that the SNP decided wasn't worth saving or wasn't going to invest in, but which, thanks to the levelling up money from the UK government of Westminster, it was saved, it was looked after, it was transformed into a working, useful building. Oh, the irony that Alex Salmond and the Alba party will be using that particular building for their conference. But we'll take a quick look. It's not a big story, but I just like the irony of it. So we'll fly in here, but do watch out for that next video. Seriously, hit the subscribe button. You do not want to miss it. It's got everything. It is brilliant. Anyway, here goes. So, Alex Salmond's Alba Party conference in Glasgow Hall that was saved for the city by the UK government money. Yeah, it just basically was falling into rack and ruin. Nobody wanted it. And then Michael Gove and Boris Johnson's levelling up money went in, saved it, and that gave the city this useful building, which now, thanks to Westminster, Alex Salmond is now using for his conference. Alex Salmond could use a very small room, couldn't he? He could go and use a post box, really, couldn't he? A telephone box, something like that. Anyway, back end of a bus, who knows? Anyway, Alex Salmond and his Alba party will hold their annual conference this week, where he will stand there and say, "Prepare for government," no doubt. Anyway, this is at Woodside Halls in Glasgow, saved from closure thanks to the broad shoulders and generosity of the United Kingdom as a whole, not from the SNP that didn't care. The once thriving community venue in the St George's Cross area of the city was closed during the COVID pandemic, and the cash-strapped SNP-run City Council was unable to reopen it due to lack of funds. A community campaign and a petition were set up, and the building was taken over by the Community Central Hall in nearby Maryhill Road. As a charity, it was able to access more than £314,000 from the UK Shared Prosperity Fund, and Woodside Halls was refurbished and reopened earlier this year for use in the community, for use of people local to it, or in this case, hired out on a business venture to raise capital, so that the 14 people and the dog that comprise the Alba party can come and sit and keep themselves warm out of the rain. The ladies can do the knitting. The gentlemen can talk about the rugby quietly. And then that's it, because nobody will be paying the slightest bit of attention to anything going up on the stage, because they've heard it all before and they all know it's all crap. Unbelievable, isn't it? Anyway, the £2.6 billion fund was launched to replace the EU monies after Brexit, and is part of the former PM Boris Johnson's drive to level up the UK. Last year, even now, I bloody loathe Boris Johnson now after what he did with COVID, but he did do some things that actually did turn out to be helpful. And it's unbelievable that Gove was involved, isn't it, considering how much they hate each other. Anyway, Levelling Up Secretary Michael Gove said, "We have taken back control of our money from the EU, and we're empowering those who know their communities best to deliver on their priorities." Now, the thing is here, because this runs through charities, it means that the UK government have this fund and they give the money directly to the charities. And you know who doesn't like this? The SNP. They say that the money should come directly to them, and then they issue it to the charities. Oh yeah, of course, yeah, because the charities will definitely get it then, wouldn't they? Unbelievable. If the charities got anything, they'd be lucky to get half of it, wouldn't they? The rest of it going off in the SNP's coffers. Anyway, 212 million is being invested in Scotland over 3 years, including 26 million in Glasgow alone, on community projects such as the reopening of Woodside Halls. As a result, the venue is once again available for hire for meetings, small conferences, classes and clubs, as well as hosting parties, dances and weddings. Mr. Salmond will give his keynote conference speech at lunchtime Saturday. Oh bless. Oh bless. I bet there'll be more press there than members, won't there? Probably. Maybe. It'll be followed by Westminster leader Neil Hanvey, a man who is running rapidly out of time of being an MP. Come the next election, he's gone. A man who once described plans for the UK Shared Prosperity Fund as a vague waffle. I like waffles, but I've never had a vague waffle. Anyway, he said this plan was vague waffle. He's sitting in a hall paid for it now, so double irony. He claimed the UK was heading for an economic disaster as a result of losing out of EU funding. And then we watched as the EU slides into recession. Germany, bankrupt, isn't it? Anyway, Alba's deputy leader, Kenny McCaskill, will give a speech on Sunday, if anyone's still there. Along with the trade union figurehead Gordon Martin of the RMT, the firebrand socialist has criticised the timid, managerial approach of the Scottish Government when it comes to pushing for Skexit, because it's unachievable. You're never going to get it. And the likes of Alba are never going to do what they have to rely on has-beens, people you've never heard of, and people so far on the extreme that this is the only platform they'll ever get. And that's why it's a dead party, isn't it? But it's fun to watch. That's the whole point. The UK Shared Prosperity Fund has infuriated, has infuriated SNP ministers as it bypasses the devolved administrations and works directly with councils. See, I know this stuff. I hadn't read ahead. I knew this. And it works with local organisations to distribute the much needed cash directly, not into their greedy, grasping little hands. In a further blow, cash-starved Scottish local authorities, including those run by the Nats, have enthusiastically embraced the scheme because it gives them a thing that they can go, oh, look, this has been done. Oh, isn't it marvellous? Look, we got this going. Even though it was UK money, but they'll still claim credit, you know. Anyway, the Community Central Hall charity was one of 17 Glasgow projects to share in £6 million in the first tranche of funding, along with playgrounds, art projects, sports clubs and youth clubs. It received £314,776 for an events and activities community hub for residents, which will provide a platform for a wide range of multicultural arts, creative projects and social action projects. And it's exactly things like that that communities need. When you have a hall that is used, that can be used one day for, judo classes, the next day for theatre classes, the third day it can be used for dance classes, the fourth day it can be used for, and so forth and so on. And you get lots of people in the community that then have things to do. It encourages community spirit, community action. People form communities and communities are stronger. But of course the SNP don't like communities because strong communities don't rely on the SNP for their every need and whim. And that's why the SNP deliberately destroy communities and deliberately let things like this fall to rack and ruin so they can come in and be the single sole provider. It's a bullying tactic. You see it in abusive relationships where usually the man, got to be honest, usually the man is the one that controls every aspect of the woman's life. She's not allowed to have her own friends, do her own things, have her own money. And that's exactly what it is with the SNP. It's an abusive relationship between the SNP and the people of Scotland. It's about time this abusive relationship was seen for what it is, don't we think? Anyway, in April, a report from Woodside Community Council said the Woodside Halls building in Glenfarg Street has been taken over by the Community Central Hall in Maryhill Road and is to reopen soon after much needed repairs and maintenance have completed. The halls have been closed and not maintained during the pandemic by Glasgow City Council, who then struggled to find the resources needed to reopen the building, but didn't struggle to find the money to send Susan Aitken all the way to Dubai, first class. Oh well, you makes your choice, don't you? You vote them in and get what you get. Anyway, well done. I hope Alex and his cronies sit there on Saturday and Sunday and enjoy the facilities paid for by the United Kingdom government. Have a good time, Alex. Remember, he's picking up the tab. I'm coming up. It is delicious, isn't it? Poor old Alex. I wonder if anyone will pick up on it. I wonder if anyone there will say, you do know that you're in this building that's paid for by the British government, don't you? Oh dear. I bet he didn't know. I really bet he didn't know. And if he's reading this or hopefully watching this, if he's watching this video, I'll call out, Alex, it's not too late. You can change the venue, you know. You don't want to look stupid now, do you? too late. Anyway, I shall stop there. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one. I enjoyed this one. It's funny, isn't it? These clowns, they just haven't got a clue. Anyway, till next time, stay safe, stay well. And if you do happen to find yourself along in the halls on Saturday or Sunday, Saturday's better, he's talking. Go along on Saturday. See Alex. Pop in. See how many people are there. Bet there ain't many. Till next time, bye.